Right, let's go for a jog. We want to get that diligence up. At the minute, it's looking quite nice. Still 2 to 7. Alright, try and get 7. 5, that's better than normal. If we observe people, we don't want to do any of that. We probably want to get the Amity up, don't we? Yeah, let's do Amity. Library, search for old newspapers, extra classes. Actually, that might not be too much of a bad idea. 2 to 6. Alright, come on. At least get 4. Damn you, you're not listening, are you, game? Whatever. Should we just go home? Alright, taking a nap will be pointless. So let's get diligence up a little bit more. And, oh god, then we're going to go up to 82. Then we've got classes which will take it down. God, we need a nap, don't we? Gifts are a good way to increase the relationship quickly with a character. Be careful though, there are only 5 gifts that a beach boy will like, so if you pick the wrong combination, you'll waste all your money without any effect. Yeah, we'll definitely buy stuff from now on. Today's a regularly day in class. I managed to learn something new, but I feel I could do better. This is the building my professor mentioned, I think. I'm standing outside of a tall school building, one of the newer ones, judging from its appearance. Apparently, my professor's lab is located inside here. Somewhere. I kind of have this thing where I like to get to know where my teachers as soon as possible. It was super easy in high school, and my teacher said it was a good habit to take with me to college. But apparently you can't go talk to your professor whenever you want. You have to wait for his thing called office hours to go talk to him. What a dick. It's like, hey, I'd love to speak to you now, but I'm not going to because I don't like you. I was able to meet with my other 3 teachers, but my bio professor apparently has some weird meeting to go to. So, after asking, well, pestering through emails, him about talking, he agreed to meet with me. The only catch is I have to swing by his lab instead of his office. I guess he works during his time. It's pretty nice of him to meet with me, even though he's busy. He's not going to be doing anything. Don't just walk in, it's going to be porn. Maybe all those emails had something to do with it. I have the room number of his lab, so finding it is all a matter of following directions on the lobby map. After a few flights of stairs and some number of halls, I finally reach what has to be my professor's lab. I quietly slide the door open and peek my head inside. Ooh, very nice. It's a bit clean for a laboratory where someone's working in here, but alright. Wow, it's really clean in here. Black surface lab stations are lined down the middle of the room, and on the right side are 2 fume hoods with different coloured knobs. Ugh, I feel like a fish out of water here. I don't know what anything is. Is this where we're going to meet Darren? I think so. 2 students in lab coats and goggles are working at the lab stations. No, they're not. No one is there. Whatever. And a girl happens to look over when I walk in. She makes a face like I'm a wet dog just coming out of the rain. Am I not wanted or something? Can I help you? Obviously, she's talking to me. Well done. Oh yeah, I'm looking for Professor Garver. Is he in here right now? He stepped out for a bit. He needed to get something from the lab storage downstairs. The girl gives me a look from head to toe. Who are you exactly? Clearly not someone who's doing science. You're wearing some sort of low-cut top, and that is prohibited. She's in one of Garver's classes. Oh, God, yeah, Jeff did science, wasn't it? To my surprise, I see Jeff stepping up to greet me, his goggles pushed up to his hair. He gives me a small wave and a smile as we lock eyes. He did say that he had a position in this lab, now that I think about it. He might be a while, so if you don't mind, I can take care of you for a while if you want. Take care of me? I'm not 7, I may have the brain of a 7-year-old, but do I look 7? No, I'm an independent woman and rah 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 rah. He looks to his fellow lab worker and tilts his head. No problems with that, right? Just make sure she follows lab safety rules, Jeff. She leaves it at that and returns to her work. Jeez, I know I'm not some sort of sciencey person, but come on. As I say, she's just being a dick. What does she mean by lab safety rules? I need goggles and a lab coat? Jeff lowers his goggles over his eyes and taps the sides with his gloved hands. You're going to need one of these, a lab coat, oh, and some gloves too. As long as this doesn't turn into some sort of weird sexual fetish. He takes a look down at my feet. And your shoes are closed-toed. Nice. Just put on what I told you and you'll be okay. Meet me back at my station when you're done. Jeff gestures at the back of the lab, bringing my attention to a rack of hanging lab coats, then heads back to whatever experiment he was doing before I came and interrupted the piece. Yeah, what a horrible bastard I am. Okay, so he said put on a lab coat, Nicole. What he didn't say was also put on a surgical coat underneath that. None of the lab coats are flattering, so I pick on a medium-sized one, shrug it on eagerly. I never had a chance to wear one of these before, and this is something about putting on a lab coat that makes you feel smart. See, it's comments like that, which means that your IQ is never going to be higher than 60. It's like people who wear glasses just because they're like, oh, I feel more confident wearing them, and I feel much smarter. Fuck off. After that, I snag up a pair of lab goggles and gloves from the side and head on over to Jeff. He's in the middle of overlooking a pair of beakers, so I take the opportunity to pull the goggles over my eyes. The elastic band snaps snugly around the back of my head. So, how do I look? Endearing? It's about as comfortable as a word as I can use. Jeff looks up from his station and gives me a glance over. I strike a little pose in my lab coat and he goggles, grinning. Perfect, you look lab ready. Yay, okay, so what are you doing here? His lab station is a medley of beakers, test tubes, whatchamacallits, and various liquids already being heated on a hot plate. I take the opportunity to slip on the latex gloves on a sight. I wouldn't want that all over my hands. Look, if we get with a guy, you're going to have a lot more over your hands. Oh, that's horrible. I'm preparing to analyse chemical compositions. One of the main things we do in this lab is study the chemical constituents of soil, plants, water, and other materials. It's not exactly pharmacology, but it does have chemicals. Right. Jeff loses me as his voice takes on this excited intellectual tone. I vaguely remember him sounding like this the last time we talked about chemicals. So, like, you just study what kind of chemicals are in what things? Jeff's smile hitches up at the corner. That was a good one, Nicole. Putting it so stupidly like that, you're funny. That's not what I was going for. It was definitely not deliberate. He forces a few more laughs under his breath as he turns back to his experiment. I was actually serious though, and... Wait, did he just insult me? Hey, what do you mean by that? Shh, this is the important part now. Now shut up, a stupid little lady like you won't know what she's doing. Oh, the charm. I watch as Jeff moves with the efficiency of an assembly line. He pours, measures, stirs, filters, and then goes back to repeat the same process with other chemicals. It's actually kind of amazing to watch, and I never thought I'd say that about someone working in a lab. Yep, that's our Jeff. I didn't say anything. Don't tell me you can read my mind. Don't tell me he's just one of these professors who's like, ha ha ha, you didn't say anything, but I'll say it anyway. I jolt as I hear the girl from before come up behind me. Oh, wait, what? She watches Jeff work with brief admiration before turning back to me. Oh, okay, so it's lab assistant, not lab teacher. Right. When he gets like this, it's hard to shake him out of it. You can say his name as much as you want, and it would be like you said nothing at all. Dang, so he's really in the zone. You can say that. He's somewhat of a role model for the younger students in the lab, and even some of the older ones. Smart, precise, and worst of all, this guy's too nice to hate. Other than when he got pissy at me before, yeah, other than that, yeah, he's brilliant, wonderful chap. Garver loves him, and he's always there to help if you need it. You don't think people like that exist, but then you meet someone like Jeff in this flesh, and you're like, dang, I really have to step it up, you know what I mean? Yeah, so what you mean is that Jeff is actually perfect. No! I flinch as I hear the crack of beaking glass behind me. Breaking? What the? Whipping around, I see a mess of glass shards before Jeff's feet. He's looking down at them all, zoned out like he hadn't realised what happened. Jeff, what happened? Did you hurt yourself? The other lab assistant grabs Jeff's arm worriedly, and her touch seems to bring him back to reality. Sorry, I was careless. That usually never happens. What is the ominous music? This happened with Ted before. It's like he got a little shouty as his customer. Dun 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 dun. It's like, wait, what? Whatever. Jeff gestures to the corner of the lab at a container. Don't worry, I'll sweep everything up. Please, go back to working, or I'm going to feel bad for disturbing you. Well, if you're sure you're not hurt. She gives Jeff a final, thorough look over before returning to her station. Meanwhile, Jeff collects a dustpan and hand broom from atop the receptacle from earlier. He sighs as he kneels down and starts sweeping all the broken glass into the dustpan. At least there wasn't any chemical in the test tube I dropped. Jeff, are you sure nothing happened? Of course, Nicole, I was just careless is all. Sucks, but that's how it is, I guess. There's something more to this guy than meets the eye. Right. I'm going to believe you accidentally dropped a test tube right after watching you in action like that. I point right at him. Something tripped you up. Jeff stops sweeping for a moment and stares down at the floor, hiding his face from my view. I couldn't help but overhear you two talking is all. He looks up and smiles apologetically at me. Oh, I think I know what he's getting at. You didn't like it that we were talking about you, huh? No, that? You said he was perfect! He's a lab guy who wears lab coats and glasses and thinks that's normal. Think anyone's ever said that about him before? I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure why he's looking apologetically. You were just speaking about him whilst he was right there. Whatever. I know it's never anything bad, but it gets tiring to hear all the time. He lowers his eyelids and starts grumbling underneath his breath. I mean, how would you like it if the rabble spoke about you like you were the main attraction in some sawdry, back-alley freak show? Huh? Where did that come from? I didn't think Jeff was capable of talking like that. Realising what he says, Jeff nervously laughs. You know, something like that. Ha! You're a fucking weirdo. Still, it doesn't distract me from that colourful statement of his. He must really not like being gossiped about. You should be flattered. It's annoying. You shouldn't be eavesdropping anyway. I feel that it's annoying would be the right answer, and you should be flattered is probably going to be a bad answer. You shouldn't be eavesdropping anyway. Would just make him go, oh, well, sorry, lol. It's not like I was fucking 2 feet away from you. Let's go, you should be flattered. Just because that's what my reaction would be anyway, and me, I don't care about it that anyway. It can't be that bad, could it? I scratched the back of my head uneasily. This hits a little too close to home for me, but I don't know if I should bother Jeff with all the specifics. I mean, they're saying nice things, so just take it as compliments or something like that. Jeff must notice my discomfort because he's obviously not buying a word I say. He stops sweeping up the glass to look up at me. You don't sound like you believe in your own advice. Yeah, I don't really. I give a long sigh, there was no avoiding it. Back in high school, people would say stuff like that all the time. They'd say stuff about how well I did in that last test, or how nice I was the last time we went out to eat. That kind of thing. I liked it at first, it was nice to be admired, but then it starts getting grating on you, it feels like you can't mess up. Oh, so that's why he did it. They didn't want everyone to think that he's some sort of example. Yeah, what a horrible, horrible problem to have. It's not a problem. And it's like, hello, can you talk about something else, please? I'm not here for your amusement. It just gets to you. Yeah, more than you would think it would. If you understood, why not just say that from the beginning? I suppose I didn't want to be a downer. Like, I think you shouldn't worry about what people say. You just keep on doing what it is you're doing. I wanted to say that, but throughout the whole story. Oh. Jeff smiles and his usual tone of voice returns. Don't worry about it, Nicole. I wish you could have been more honest with me, but no one's honest all the time. Now that he's done sweeping, Jeff stands at his feet, holding the dustpan carrying glass. Okay, so my answer wasn't a bad one. It's kind of a good one, which didn't get me any relationship points, which can only be a good thing. But it is a comfort that someone understands how it feels. Thanks, Nicole. I feel a bit better now. I thought it was going to go up by 5 there. Even if it's just a bit, I'm glad. There was a hitch, but I managed to clear Jeff. Clear? To cheer Jeff up somehow. I wait by Jeff's lab station as he goes to dispose of the broken glass. It doesn't take long at all, but just as he's coming back, the door to the lab swings open again. Oh, welcome back, Professor. Professor? I turn to see my bio-professor walking in. He's already wearing a lab coat, looking smart and sharp as usual. Wow, that didn't take long at all. Like 10 fucking minutes, maybe longer. Thank you. They'll be delivering the scales that we need in a few moments. They offered to calibrate them for us first. Garver's eyes fall on me and he squints his eyes as though he's trying to remember who I am. I don't believe we've met before. Are you a new intern? Oh, no, science isn't really my thing. I'm Nicole Grave, the girl with the emails. Garver makes a face like I've just brought back several uncomfortable memories. Geez, sorry, guy. At least you won't forget me now. It's good that someone's, this willing to learn, I think. You're a tenacious girl, I'll give you that. You'll go far if you keep that up. Backhanded compliment. Hello, sorry, I just really wanted to talk to you before we got too far into the course. No, don't apologise. I do wish that more students were as proactive as you are. Garver looks over my shoulder, presumably at Jeff. Ah, and I see that Mr. Ryan took you under his wing in the meantime. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, Jeff's been keeping me company. He taught me what to wear in a lab and what you guys doing here. Sounds pretty important. But way over my head, I silently add. I imagine that's with a lot of things. As expected from Mr. Ryan, but if he doesn't mind, I'll be happy to spend some time speaking with you, Nicole. I'll make sure the scales go in the proper areas, Professor. Leave it to me. Excellent. Right this way, Nicole. We can talk more in the back. Great. I have a few questions. I am about to head into the lab's back room, but I stop and turn back to Jeff first. Thanks for keeping me company, Jeff. It would have been weird just standing here all by myself. Jeff smiles and offers a small nod. My pleasure, Nicole. I smile back and leave with Professor Garver so Jeff can get back to work. I know that small accident with his test tube was partially my fault. Jeff made it sound like this thing happens to him all the time. I feel so bad. I wish I could help. There has to be something I can do. With a bit of luck, it'll be the last thing we ever do. I don't know what, but maybe I'll figure out something eventually. Even guys like Jeff need help every now and then.